guys, Will here with W.T.F car reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander SEL Black Edition.
And a huge thanks to Jenkins Mitsubishi in Lakeland, Florida for making this review possible. I'll leave a link to our inventory below, and if you're looking for a new car or SUV in the Lakeland, Orlando, or Tampa area, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out.
And for those of you guys who don't know, the Outlander has been Mitsubishi's compact crossover SUV since 2001. That's when the first generation was released. The fourth generation Outlander that you see here was released last year for 2022, sitting in the all-new Renault Nissan Mitsubishi Alliance platform. For 2023, there are a few changes, starting with the addition of the new plug-in hybrid variant. We recently just reviewed the plug-in hybrid on this channel, make sure you check that out. There's also two new special edition trims, starting with the Rail Art Edition and the 40th Anniversary Special Edition too. The SE trim now gets standard power folding side mirrors, the SEL gets standard rear sunshades, and the black roof is now available as a standalone option. We also get 2 free trial years of Mitsubishi Connect, which enables a bunch of features, including remote start. The new Nissan Rogue, of course, gets a powertrain update, which includes a 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder, which makes a lot of power at 201 horsepower and 225 pound-feet of torque, enough to get the new Rogue to 60 around 7 seconds, making it a no-joke performer. However, long-term reliability has certainly become a question with that really high output, tiny little motor making over 200 horsepower. If you want the more proven, tried and proven, dependable 2.5-liter inline-4 that the Rogue used to have, you got to go with the Outlander, which of course still features that 2.5-liter 4-cylinder. If you want more power, you can upgrade to the PHEV, which doesn't use the 2.5, it uses the previous model's 2.4, which makes about 168 horsepower and 171 pound-feet of torque, made it to a 20 kilowatt-hour battery and dual electric motors with a combined 248 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. We just drove it on this channel. It's a quick SUV. The 2023 Outlander comes available in 6 trims for the non-plug-in hybrid variant, featuring of course a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder mated to a CVT, available in either front-wheel drive, or you can include all-wheel drive for an additional $1,800 for any trim, and you can also include a $12,000 plug-in hybrid variant too. So we start with the ES with a base price of $27,595. You can upgrade to the SE Special Edition, which starts at $29,545, or the SE, which starts at $30,645. Pretty interesting that the SE Special Edition starts cheaper than the SE, but not going to complain about that. The SE Black Edition, which we reviewed last year, starts at $31,645. The SEL, which is the premium trim, starts at $34,145, which is a great value. That's the trim that I would recommend going with. You can upgrade to the SEL Black Edition that you see here, the base price of $35,595, or the SEL 40th Anniversary Edition, which kind of looks like a Duracell battery with its black paint and bronze roof. Hopefully we get the chance to review that on this channel at some point, with a base price a tick under $40K at $39,995. But again, this is the SEL Black Edition, with a base price of $35,565. What else we get for the money? Let's jump right in. So unlike the PHEV we just reviewed, the Outlander badge is blacked out. It's an additional $200 to go with the chrome, but personally I prefer the black badging. We get full LEDs for the daytime running lights, high and low beam LEDs, and we get LED fog lights for the SEL. We get full front parking sensing too, front facing camera with the sensors beneath for the adaptive cruise control too. The grille lets in a decent amount of opening, but that top portion, the top half, isn't actually part of the grille, it's part of the hood. I'll show you guys once we go underneath the hood. A little bit of shiny chrome connects the daytime runners to the fog lights with the high and low beams in the center. The side profile in this SUV reminds me a lot of a Ford Explorer. You can let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Of course, this is a smaller vehicle, the Explorer being one of the larger mid-size SUVs, this being one of the larger compact SUVs, so I guess it does have some similarities. We don't get a side sensor for the front parking sensing, but we do get a camera on the mirror, which helps with our 360, of course. Blacked out 20-inch rims wrapped in Nexen Rhodian GTX all-season tires. Same wheel and tire setup as the PHEV we just reviewed in this channel. I believe the SE non-PHEV gets Bridgestone all-season tires, but these Nexen Rhodian GTXs are still very solid, especially with the wide compound. We get 255s 45 R20s for a square setup for all 4 wheels, just front wheel drive on this Black Edition SEL, but it is available also in all-wheel drive. A little bit of plastic cladding, which should help from the rock chips, because again, we do get front wheel drive. Full blacked out mirror, LED turn signal in the center with the camera down below. pretty large glass. It fills up most of the frame, blind spot monitoring on the glass. I like how we have the full blacked out A, B, and C pillar, full blacked out roof too for the black edition, but I really wish that bottom portion of the window trim was also blacked out. Of course, that can be done aftermarket. The grab handles have black trim up top with some body color beneath that, smart access for the driver and the front passenger. Same rear wheel and tire setup. The only difference is a smaller brake caliper. No side sensor for the rear parking sensing either, but the 360 is very functional, very high resolution too. The rear styling very similar to the other Outlanders, but the spoiler up top is blacked out. Full rear parking sensing. Shout out Jenkins Mitsubishi in Lakeland, Florida for making this review possible. SEL Black Edition. Badging, full LED taillights and reverse lights, but the turn signal is halogen. We can take a squat back here, get a good look at the exhaust tip on the left side. And speaking of the exhaust tip, let's fire up this 2.5 liter 4-cylinder and hear how she sounds. Alright guys, that was the sound of the 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder sold by Mitsubishi for the 2023 Outlander, and it sounds okay for what it is. It doesn't rev very quickly. It makes an okay amount of power at 181 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque. Power is certainly not what this SUV is about. You can expect 0 to 60 in the low to mid 8-second range, but for daily driving, it's still more than good enough. The engine sits low in the engine bay. It's pretty good for the handling. Aluminum stick connecting the 2 strut towers also should help the handling, but the battery being on the driver's side, just not good for weight balance. But what you see is basically what we get. No hydraulic struts. I'm using my arm as the prop rod right now because it's not too hot. The prop rod located right in the center of the hood, but we can shut this thing right up. Take one more step back, get a good look at the front styling of the 2023 Outlander. It looks really good in my opinion, especially with this white on black contrast. We can take a quick look at the interior. Before we do that, let me show you guys the window sticker for this 2023 Outlander SEL Black Edition with 2-wheel drive. So white diamond paint, black roof, black interior, 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with direct injection. You can pause, take a look at all the standard features. I know it can be tough because of the rear tints, but hopefully I can pick all of them up for you on camera. So options wise, $1,000 for the white diamond paint with a black roof contrast, $200 for the tonneau cover, $175 for the welcome package, which includes the floor mats, touch-up paint pen, and a center console tray mat. About $1,300 in total options. After a $1,345 destination charge, totals is out a tick over $38,000. Fuel economy solid, 27 combined, 24 city, 31 on the highway. But the interior, as we mentioned, taking a step inside, we get beautiful diamond quilted interior, gushy soft for the upper portion. It's hard plastic for the door frame, but to be expected. The areas where you'll be touching are extremely premium. Gushy soft leather for the armrest, auto one touch for all 4, power folding mirrors, which is standard on everything above the SE, 4-way adjustable mirrors too. Massive storage, just like all the Outlanders. You'll stack up 2 footlongs and a big gulp right next to it. We don't get the Bose sound system here, unfortunately, just a 6-speaker sound system. I kind of wish we got the Bose for the SEL Black Edition, but the seats are still beautiful, super comfortable, well bolstered, diamond quilted for the entire center portion, heated, not ventilated seats, fully adjustable. You can adjust lumbar control, recline, drop, lift, and slide the seats. But taking a step inside, we can really check it out. So foot on the brake, engine start, stop, watch everything fire right to life. I like that 12.3-inch digital gauge display. It's a full digital gauge display too for the SEL. But first thing we notice is the steering wheel. Just like all the Outlanders, super thick. It's almost like a BMW M steering wheel. Very nice 10-2 bolstering notch. 9-3 fits perfect in your hand, and the perforation is always appreciated. The Mitsubishi horn area, hard plastic. It has some nice grain material to it, but the horn itself, not the most aggressive, but people should definitely get out of your way once they hear it. The steering wheel controls, volume, skip controls. This is just your infotainment cluster. Right now we're looking at our average fuel economy. You can see trip 1 and trip 2. You can also see tire pressure, heads up turn by turn for the GPS when the GPS is connected. When it's not connected, we're just looking at a compass. We do get GPS on this 2023 Outlander SEL Black Edition. Music, safety features, you can see your blind spot information, forward collision alert, and lane keep assist. And you can just see all of that without it being labeled. Traffic sign recognition too. Overall settings, which includes ASC, driver's assistance. You can just take a look at everything that comes equipped. This is our home screen setting with our advanced safety features and a blank screen right beneath. That's my personal favorite to look at all times, so we'll leave it there. We get a true tach, goes to about 6,000 RPM digitally, with the coolant temperature in the left corner. On the right side, speedometer goes to about 140 with the fuel information in the bottom left corner. But anyway, the stocks, very satisfying click to it. Auto headlamps with fog lights. The paddle shifters control your 8-speed line-driven CVT. Auto rain sensing wipers, also appreciated feature. To the left, the steering wheel interior brightness and trunk release. Not an auto tilt and telescope, but we still get a tilt and telescoping steering wheel, hood latch release, and hopefully you can get a good look at your pedals. Gushy soft leather for the center portion of this dashboard. Soft touch materials for the dash itself. We don't get the premium package, so no Bose, no heads-up display, but it is available as an option. 9-inch touchscreen, great resolution. The response is fantastic, and it's like Google Maps once you zoom out. Really high resolution. Hopefully you can pick it up on camera. Impressive. You can also use the buttons down here for shortcuts if you don't want to go through the touchscreen. The menu, you can check it out. This is the home screen. You see the music, go home, and the search POI for the navigation with our shortcuts beneath, or the buttons if you don't want to go through the touchscreen. My personal favorite to look at all times would be the map. We can check out the cameras. Right now we're looking at also super high resolution front-facing camera and a 360 with guidance lines and trajectory for both. Press it one more time. We're looking at a blind spot camera, so you don't have to worry about scuffing up your wheels or tires against the curb. We're still looking at a forward-facing camera on the left side. You press one more time. Now we're looking at a rear view camera with guidance lines and trajectory. Nice and impressive. Press it one more time. And right back to our home screen. My personal favorite would be to look at the map. So we'll leave it right over there. Continuing along, engine start stop integrated with the air vents, hazards in the middle, aluminum trim underneath the piano black, soft touch for the bottom portion, dual zone or tri-zone auto climate control, heated, no ventilated seats. You don't want to use the automatic climate control. The vent controls are in the center. Heated steering wheel, USB-C, USB-A, and a wireless charging port with 12-volt 2. The gear selector controls a CVT. It's an 8-speed line-driven CVT with some faux carbonish trim surrounding it. Hopefully you can pick it up on camera. The backup camera, we already checked it out, but when you put the car in reverse, of course, we enter a backup camera with a 360 over-the-head camera too, which are both very high resolution. You throw it into drive, and it returns us right to our home screen. It doesn't transition into a front-facing camera, but not a very big deal. Terrain management selector, we have normal and eco mode for the drive modes. No sport mode, unfortunately, but the PHEV does get a power mode. Hill descent control, the terrain, you can alternate between normal, tarmac, gravel, and snow. We'll leave it in normal for the purpose of this review. To the side, electronic parking brake with auto hold, 2 cup holders, which currently have my pen and a whole lot of keys in it. You'll fit 16 to 20 ounce water bottles in there with no problem. Gushy soft for the leather armrest, the space. Typical Outlander, I'd expect you to fit 6, maybe 7 12-ounce water bottles and cans. The glove box, it's damped, decently large. I'd expect you to fit 20 license plates, a pair of shoes, but not a whole lot more than that. Auto dimming rear view mirror, it's not frameless, pretty thick frame, but the auto dimming function is appreciated. We get a rollover risk for this vehicle. It is a little bit loopy in terms of body roll. We'll check that out once we take it out for a drive, but compared to most of the vehicles in the segment, it's not quite as sharp as like a CX-5, but compared to a RAV4 CRV, the handling is really just about the same. The interior lights appear to be LED, sunglass holder, and we get the panoramic moonroof. So you press the slide button, I believe it only opens that far, so you press one more time, and it opens up the rest of the way. And as soon as the shade opens up, wow, it goes out really far. We can open up the glass, which goes underneath the first panel of glass, or the second panel of glass, so it doesn't stick out outside like a sore thumb. It goes out a little further, yep, to the end of the front row, beginning of the second row. So very wide opening for the pano moonroof. We can poke our way out of here. Very nice day today in Lakeland, Florida. It's sunny, well, not sunny, it's a little bit cloudy, but 77 degrees, so everything's nice and cool. We leave the shade open, so when we hop out back, you can get a good idea of how much light is brought into the cabin. But that's about it for the front seat of this 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Black Edition, SEL Black Edition. So fully loaded. The only trim above this is the 40th anniversary edition, or if you go for the tech package or premium package or the touring package for the SEL Black Edition. Out rear, no smart access, not a big deal though. We do get dual pane windows up front, which should help keep this interior extremely quiet. Rear sunshades are now standard on the back of an SEL. Gushy soft materials up top, quilted, diamond quilted leather, gushy soft armrest, auto one touch, out rear too. The seats are still beautiful. We get diamond quilts for the center, white contrast stitching, decent bolstering even for a back seat. Not nearly as impressive as a front seat for bolstering, but wouldn't be expected for a back seat. They're heated, and we get full third zone climate control. Taking a step inside because I hear some ruffling going on back there in the swamp, and I don't want to get eaten by a gator today. But legroom wise, I'm a little bit over 6 feet tall. I have at least 4 or 5 inches of legroom. See if it slides any further. It does a little bit, but that's about it for the legroom. Plenty of room for my feet too. Mat pockets behind both of the front seats. Full third zone climate control too, and heated back seats as we mentioned. The headroom is impressive. I have at least 1 inch, possibly 2. Interior lights are LED. Ton of light brought into the cabin thanks to this massive moonroof. That's about it though for the front seat or rear seat. We have the sunshades as we mentioned, and we get a third row. I'll remove that tonneau cover and I'll catch back with you in 1 second. All right guys, the tonneau cover has been removed. We're gonna have to make some compromises for me to fit into the third row, but as you'll see, it is pretty much functional once we do make these said compromises. So we have power seats up front. We're gonna have to compromise a lot of space for the front passenger for me to fit, because again, I'm a little bit over 6 feet tall, and this is a compact SUV. But with my knees not touching, I have plenty of room for my feet. Of course, still plenty of room for my head. This is what the front seat passenger's legs will look like out back. Also gonna have to make some compromises for me to fit back there. No reason for the back seat passenger to have this much space. We can slide these seats forward. This looks like a pretty reasonable amount of space, you would say, at least like 1 inch or 2 for my knees, plenty of room for my feet. The headroom is still more than enough. So hopping out into the third row, you pull this top latch, push the seat a little bit forward, and this is not easy because it is a tight squeeze. But once we're situated, we can put this seat right back to where it was. I think it was a little bit further back, honestly, but okay, good enough. Plenty of room for my knees right now. That's what the backseat passenger's knees will look like if this is where they stuck, but I still have at least 2 or 3 inches so they can push it back if needed. Headroom, there is none. My head is hitting the ceiling. It's not quite as in the ceiling as with the PHEV because the floor here is a little bit lower because we don't have the battery. But really, what you see is basically what we get in an emergency situation. You can put people back here. If you're under like 6 feet tall, you shouldn't have any issues. I wouldn't have any issues back here for any trips quicker than like 30, 40 minutes, and that's really the purpose of this third row. If you have small kids, they can sit back here all day, every day. So it's a functional vehicle for an SUV that can get 27 combined MPGs. 7 passenger seating is definitely appreciated. And hopping back out of here, okay, this is not gonna be easy at all, but oh, got it, figured out. Okay, drop the seat back where it was. Shut the door, we'll take a step back here. The gas cap is also pushed to open, unlike the PHEV with easy fill. You can throw 87 octane fuel for this 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder. Power opening lift gate, simply press the button underneath the Mitsubishi badge and it opens right up. With the third row's up, very limited amount of space. We get some secret storage beneath, but it's really taken up with all the stuff like the headrests for the third row seat. If you do plan on using the third row and keeping the third row seats up for a lot of the time, I recommend removing this tray altogether and just use the extra cubic foot or so of space and have that groove so the grocery bags don't fly around nearly as bad. But the cutouts for the wheel well areas are nice for the grocery bags. We can drop these rear seats right up top and push. Of course, the second row seat has to be in the way, but do the same thing right over here. You can get a good idea of how much space is offered back here. So very large cargo space for a compact SUV. I mean, it has a third row, so it has to have a large cargo space. You fold those rear seats down 60-40 split. I'd expect you to fit up to a 70, maybe a 75-inch TV back here. And the latches to fold the seats down are in both of the corners. We get an additional 12-volt outlet back here too. To shut this cargo or lift gate up, simply press the button. Make sure you get out of the way as soon as you press the button though, because it doesn't give you a second and you're gonna get doofed in the head if you don't get out of the way. But that's about it, guys, for the inside and outside of this beautiful 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander SEL Black Edition. Loaded with features with a base price under $38,000 bucks. You get a lot for the money. As far as performance with this 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, let's take it out for a drive and see what it's got. All right, guys, now we're just about seeing everything we need to see with the inside and outside of the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander SEL Black Edition. Let's take it out for a drive. And the first thing I notice, the steering feels planted and on center. I'm impressed. It feels good not only with the steering rack itself, but also with the steering wheel. It has one of the best feels in your hands, especially in this segment. It feels like a BMW steering wheel, I swear, guys. And with the on-center responsiveness, it feels playful. Body roll wise, I remember there being some body roll in this thing. Yep, there is some body roll in this thing. But just as much as like a CR-V or a RAV4. Yeah, it's not as planted as a CX-5, but you wouldn't expect it to be. The PHEV actually is planted like a CX-5. But even here, non-hybrid, brakes feel nice. Not quite as good as in the plug-in hybrid with the regenerative braking, but they feel solid. So does the throttle response. Yeah, picks up speed. Very solid. With the dual pane windows, we couldn't hear that truck drive by just now. Very quiet interior. On the smooth road, you don't hear any road noise. We're not really going fast enough to hear any wind noise. We'll take a step out onto the highway at some point in this review and we'll check out the wind noise. But at low speeds, there is none. And we'll check out the road noise too at the higher speeds. But at low speeds, there's just none. Throwing it in. Steering feels responsive and great in your hands. All right, guys, taking a step out here. Throw it through some twisties. The response is good. That's barely any throttle. We pick up speed well. Handling is good. Yeah, I'm not sure if they revised the 2023 suspension, but it feels more planted. I noticed it in the PHEV, but of course the lower center of gravity, it would be expected. Even here with the non-PHEV, it feels more playful than I remember. All right, guys, we can test out this car's turning radius. Really sharp, wow. And on the gas. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, those line-driven ratios definitely help. Brakes feel good. Turn in is sharp and responsive, guys. I don't hear any road noise either. We're not going that quick, but I don't hear any. All right, guys, about half throttle. Yes, sir, this thing can move. Try out these paddles. Rev match downshifts, the brakes feel great. Okay, take a step out here. Should be able to open her up a little bit more. Let this Kia pass. And, all right, try it out in the manual shift, starting out in first gear. On the gas. Ooh. Nice. Brakes. Throwing it in. Ooh. Nice. Not bad, guys. This thing is not bad. I remember it being so much sloppier last year. I'm not sure what they did to it. The Black Edition with the wider 20-inch rims may help, but even the SEL that we reviewed last year had 20-inch rims, so I'm not quite sure what they did, but it feels a lot more playful and planted. One more time, turning radius is absurd, like so ridiculously sharp, guys. On the gas. Whoop. Starting off in second, not as much torque, but it gets there. Slowly but surely, and once you cross about 55, 60, it doesn't really feel much slower than the PHEV. The PHEV fell on its face bad after about 50 miles an hour. This thing feels a lot more playful than I remember. I tell you guys, stepping back out, steering feels nice. Woo! Yeah, I'm telling you guys, I was not expecting to enjoy driving this new Outlander this much, but okay, one more time, another set of twisties, light throttle, we don't have to push it too far, but the steering feels good. Whoop, whoop, nice. All right, guys, right here, we can try one out off the line, on the gas. Woo-hoo-hoo. Body roll stays limited. Not bad. Brakes feel good. Nice. We'll open it up for real one time, stepping out onto a highway, but I'm telling you, this thing is quick enough for the street. For daily driving situations, I don't think you're ever really gonna need more power. But again, we'll step out onto this highway, see how it gets onto the highway in terms of power, and I'll determine if you really do need more or not. Because the PHEV, yes, it'll do 0 to 50 probably twice as quick as this car, but from 50 to 60, it takes a good second and a half from 50 to 60. It really falls on its face after about 50 miles per hour, and this just does not. It continues to pull consistently through red line. Yes, it's not very quick to 50, but the consistency of the acceleration stays about the same. As soon as this Honda passes, we'll take a step out here, see how we are onto the highway, and on the gas. Okay, definitely gets the highway speeds more than quickly enough. On the concrete pavement, you hear a little bit of road noise, but really not a whole lot. It's a quiet car, guys. I think I read on Car and Driver's website that they don't like the noisy cabin, but I don't know what they're talking about. On concrete pavement, this thing is just as quiet as most BMWs I reviewed in this channel, most actual high-end luxury cars. No, it's not quite as quiet as like a Palisade Calligraphy, but it's close enough for me to not even care. This is a quiet interior. The dual pane windows help a lot. The tires, I'm confused on why we're using Nexen tires, because I believe the SE we reviewed in this channel last year used Bridgestone Turenza tires, which are some of the best in the business in terms of road noise isolation. But even these Nexen tires, they're doing a great job keeping this interior quiet. I hear zero buzz. The overall hum from the road basically doesn't exist. I probably could have made that. Felt a little bit nervous in this 2.5 four-cylinder, but as soon as we get the chance, we'll test out a real-world turning radius, another acceleration run, and then wrap things up. All right, guys, real-world turning radius. I hope that F-150 doesn't decide to drive into me. He did not. Okay, and on the gas. Yes, sir. Gets the speed nice and well. 0 to 60 between 8 and 8.5 seconds. Certainly not going to blow you away in terms of speed, but it's really all you need for daily driving. About half throttle, you'll get to highway speed with very little struggling. After about 45-50, it's really not any slower than the PHEV. So overall, you're looking for a 3-row SUV that gets good gas mileage. You're getting over 25 combined MPGs in this new Outlander. It looks good. It's spacious too. If you're using it as a 5-passenger SUV, you have just as much space in the second row as most mid-size SUVs. However, the third row is just not quite as spacious as a mid-size SUV. You got to compromise a lot of second row space. You have to compromise even some first row space to make the back seat or third row seat usable for anybody over like 5'5", 5'6", but it's still usable for people that are under 5'5", 5'6" after a few compromises, and that's what it's all about. This car is not meant to be an everyday 3-row SUV. Mid-size SUVs aren't meant to be everyday 3-row SUVs. Like an Acura MDX third row really isn't a whole lot smaller than that, and that's a vehicle that's way larger. You're not getting a combined 20 MPGs in an MDX, maybe a sport hybrid MDX, but even then you'll be struggling to get 20 MPGs. So you want 3 rows, you want to get over 25 MPGs, you want the really impressive appearance with the black and white contrast. Check out the SEL Black Edition 2023 Outlander. I'm telling you, this thing is fully loaded. It looks sweet. We don't have all-wheel drive. That's the only thing that I would add on this SUV is the all-wheel drive. But outside of that, with a base price under 35 or 36,000 bucks, out the door price around 38, you get so much for the money here. I would definitely recommend checking it out. And big thanks to Jenkins Mitsubishi in Lakeland, Florida for helping make this review possible. I'll leave a link to their inventory below, and if you're looking for a new car or SUV in the Lakeland, Tampa, Orlando area, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. And huge thanks to all of you for watching. I had a great time making this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. You guys know the channel is just not possible without you, and I really appreciate the constant support. But again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Leave a like too. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm. That's how these videos get promoted to new people. Leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Leave a comment. Let me know if there's any specific cars, SUVs, or trucks you want to see reviewed on this channel, and I'll definitely try getting those videos for you ASAP. But other than that, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope all of you have a great day.